Welcome back, everyone, to Talking It Out with Bachelor Nation. This week, we are talking to the smooth operator, I call him, Mike.
He definitely is.
Aven.
100%.
We are very excited to talk to Aven and get to know him a little bit more after his amazing one-on-one date with Rachel. But before we get into all that, you know how we do. We got to do our hot takes. So I'm going to kick it over to you, bro. What do you got?
I have a wonderful hot take this week. But before that, I just got to check in with the homie. I think that, my gym, I'm going to start off the episode with the gym. Okay. How are you doing today?
Thank you for asking, Mike. I'm doing well, man. It's, for me, it's just another day. I'm here at the office, as you can see, treating patients. Take a little break to chop it up with my boy and talk all things Bachelor. So, yeah, man.
I'm glad you said that because people need to know how awesome you are and the work that you put in. I'm phenomenal, man. I saw you in Greece. Oh, I had some fun over there. Think about it like this. When you're overseas, I've done a lot of phenomenal things in this world, but when you get to do some phenomenal things with people that you love and care about, it just hits differently, And this trip, I got to go with one of my best friends in the world. And so it just hit differently. We were out, in Greece on the water, listening to some music that's like, for us, just some good oldies music or whatever. It was really good. And so,
what was the vibe? Like, what kind of oldies music?
No, it wasn't oldies.
Like a little 90s R&B? What do you got over there?
I mean, we got a little, it's more like, like if you go to Rachel's house for like the cookout.
Okay.
That's what we were listening to.
I feel you on that.
But let's get into the hot takes. But that was my gym. It's just simply to check in with people.
Okay.
I think
appreciate you, man. Appreciate you.
But my hot take for today. I was told this by a young lady. She said, "Don't date me, or you shouldn't date me if you don't have the ability to afford me." And what she was saying was, she was kind of, in a sense, and my way of asking you guys is being on the same economic page a bad thing when dating?
So wait, what was your interpretation of what she said? Like,
what I interpreted and what she was trying to convey as well was the same thing, which was she's not trying to have me pay for everything. That's not what she was saying.
So she's not looking for a sugar daddy. I just want to put that out there, make that clear. Okay.
I'm putting it out there that Mike Johnson's not a sugar daddy. So that's not happening. But what she was
PSA,
saying,
everybody.
PSA. But what she was saying was that, yo, hey, I'm trying to make sure that we're on the same economic page or
somewhere close to it.
Or somewhere close to it, And I personally didn't see nothing offensive to it. Like we just talked about, I just went to Greece with my friends, right? If that may be the case with someone I'm dating, I would love to, if work permits, I would love to be able to take them. I probably would buy their ticket, but at the same time, if I buy your ticket, I would probably in the back of my head be expecting you to pay for some dinners.
Like you're not paying for the whole trip, basically. Correct. You're not being the sugar daddy in that sense.
Correct. And to me, there's nothing wrong with that. I just feel that it's hard to say that when you're dating someone, and I guess that's the hot take is like, is it a bad thing to look for economic signs of stability and economic signs of equalness in some form or fashion?
I mean, I get what you're saying, man. I feel like I don't see any problem with both parties having at least some sort of a standard, right? I mean, the woman, she's reached a certain level maybe in her life. I mean, I don't know this woman. Obviously, you know her more than I do. But, she's maybe reached a certain level and she expects her man to, meet a certain standard when it comes to economics, right? So if this man is, there's people out there that, they're broke. They have no money. Times are tough right now. If he can't afford, a dinner a month, I mean, that he wants to basically Netflix and chill all day. Well, it's like,
can't be doing that. That leads to more bills down the road.
You know what I'm saying? Like just basically something that doesn't quote unquote cost anything, and he's just always trying to stay indoors and not, maybe splurge and entertain her woman a little bit. I mean, I gotta agree with her. I understand. I understand that aspect of what she's saying, but at the same time, if she's expecting you to pay for everything, then that's a whole nother ballgame.
It is a whole nother ballgame. She wasn't whatsoever. But also, you shouldn't be dating if your ass is broke.
Yeah.
Period. I don't care what your gender is.
Get your money up. You know what I'm saying? Like, honestly, if you're gonna put yourself out there, you can't be mad if a woman comes to you and steps in that way to you, right? And tells you straight up, hey, look, and if you know you don't got it, like I would want to work on myself and elevate my level to the point where I can date that caliber of woman. Does that make sense?
Well, no, it does make sense, but I'm gonna throw a wrench in that, right? Because I've dated some women that are like 1,000 times make more income than I do, right? Like X my income per year times about 1,000, that's what they make, right? Times about 10,000, and so that isn't as feasible for me, right? So I'm not saying that you have to even be in the same ballpark. You just have to make a good income too. If that individual that you're trying to pursue likes a certain type of lifestyle, you should be able to every now and then be able to do something on that level.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if I could ask you a question, that with that woman that you said made 10x what you made, like, did you feel a certain type of way because she made that much money? Like, was she cool with you not making as much?
Honestly, I loved it, man. Like, honestly, I loved it. To me, it was so like, I just smiled on the inside because I was like, wow, this is so cool. Like it made me subconsciously want to work harder.
1,000%. I mean, look, you know who I'm gonna go. You know who I'm gonna talk about. My wife.
Yeah,
you know, she is.
Wifey, yeah.
She has 1,356 jobs, and
She does.
she crushes it, man. She is the most ambitious person I know. Yes. She is the most ambitious person I know, and she makes me want to be a better man. You know what I'm saying? And I think
that's what it made me feel too. I think that's good.
So you wanted to work harder just because her game was just on another level in and of itself.
I'm not going to say I wanted to work harder. There was a certain point in my life, I think I was 29, where I changed the harder part to work smarter, not harder.
Okay.
So there's ways that, and I'll give you an example. The CEO of Coca-Cola made X amount of dollars. An investor in Coca-Cola can make more than a CEO if done right. But we don't got to get into that topic. But it just, when I've dated people that make way more money than me, it sparks something inside of me that makes me smile and just want to do more grandiose things in life.
Yeah, it makes you
and also I know that they can do it too, so it made me feel good as well. That I'm not always having to be the one to do something.
And then you come together and you're this power couple and you're both doing great things. I love it.
Yeah. Question for you right quick before we get to our hot take. I want to know this about you. I want to know this is true. For me, when I think back on my best dates ever, the most expensive ones are probably not even in my top 5.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. Some of the best dates. I mean, granted, nothing can compare to the Bachelor dates, right? It's like those are like the.
I've actually no.
No,
I've done.
I'm talking about like the grandiose. Okay. Oh, okay.
Like Matt's season had the hot air balloon. I was dating a young lady, took her overseas to the hot air balloon before I even saw her. So we can do these Bachelor things too now.
I'm talking about like the overall day. It's just so grandiose that it's
fireworks.
It's out there. Yeah,
producers,
the helicopter landing on the yacht, the whole nine. I mean, those are a little out there.
That's fine.
But yeah, man. I mean, to me, it's just like some of my best dates have just been, let's say, I love stand-up comedy, like just going.
Yes.
Having a couple drinks, laughing. Going out afterwards, dancing, just, and you don't even have to break the bank per se. You know what I'm saying? Like
you don't. You
really
don't.
You just got to get creative. Like as men, you want to get creative, and it doesn't necessarily take you having to, shell out all this money to show a woman a good time.
It doesn't. I'm glad that we said this because what we were talking about is like, hey, can you afford to be able to date, right?
Yeah.
Which the answer, in my opinion, is absolutely you should be able to have money in order to date certain individuals. But at the same token, you can have some amazing dates without spending much money whatsoever.
Yes. Yes.
It doesn't take much. It takes personality, which some of y'all may not have. Not playing.
That's true. Some people think, I got to have money to do this, but no, like I totally agree with you when it comes to that. Should we move on?
And then also, before you say, but like when it comes to spending too much money on a date, I found that at times it can be kind of weird. Like either it's stuffy and you're a try hard. It's like, why are we in this?
Like you're trying to show out,
it's like you're trying to show out or something. It's just like you're doing too much.
Because do you feel like that sets the expectation? It's like if she sees like, oh, you taking me to, Prime 112 in Miami, first date, you know what I'm saying?
No, not for me, it ain't saying no expectation because I'll take you to a prom. What is it called? Prom 112?
Prime 112.
I'll take you to a prom 112, and then the next, 3 days later, we going to the taco shack. Not because of financial thing, but because
it's all about balance. It's all about balance. If she could roll with both of those, then she might be your type of woman. Yeah,
we're winning.
Absolutely.
What you got for us, though, man?
All right, man. So I want to try to tie this a little bit to the show. So you saw yesterday, Logan, right? He pulled the big switcheroo, and Logan went from Rachel's men, and he crossed over and went into Gabby's group, and obviously all the men were absolutely shocked, but it just got me thinking, like, as I've had this situation happen to me before, and I want to get your take on it. Have you ever maybe started dating a woman, I would say within the first 3 months, right? 1 to 3 months. You're getting to know this person, you like her, she likes you, like everything's going great. And then all of a sudden a wrench gets thrown into the picture and the ex comes back. Maybe they see you posting online or something, maybe from your date. They get jealous. They're like, wait a minute, she's moving on without me. I got to put an end to this. So he steps back in and tries to maybe love bomb the girl. And then she kind of goes back to him and leaves you high and dry. Wait, has that ever happened to you?
It has, but first I want to hear your story. What happened?
No, like, I think everybody is, have you been ghosted before?
Of course.
Yeah, I think everybody's been ghosted. Like, that happened to me. It's like I thought things were going amazingly well. Everything was great. We were getting along. Physical attraction was there, the personality, laughs. I mean, everything was going great. And then all of a sudden, it's like she starts getting cold. And from one day to the next, I don't hear from her again. And the next thing I know, I see them, with their ex, they're out and about. But honestly, I don't think there was anything that I necessarily could have done per se. Like, I was my absolute, I thought, best self. And there was nothing that I necessarily could have done to prevent that, in the sense that I feel like she still had feelings for the guy. I don't know if maybe she was using me to kind of make him jealous or whatnot.
Kim K? No, not jealous aspect.
But yeah, like, she ended up going back to her ex. But for me, it's, and kind of like some of the guys last night, they saw Logan come back, and some of the guys weren't fazed. And especially those front runners, right? Like, the guys weren't fazed. They're like, hey, look, he's back in the picture. Doesn't matter. Doesn't affect my, what we got going on. But in a situation like that in real life, it's a situation where it's like, it is what it is. Like, I'm moving on. You know what I'm saying? Yes. Like, I can't worry about, trying to keep her or what, or trying to fight for something when her heart is somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't want that lingering if we were to go move forward into a relationship. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, flush that out completely, break that off if necessary, or go be with the dude. You know what I'm saying? Because I want somebody that's going to be all in for me. And, that's essentially what Rachel did, right? Like, she said, peace out to Logan. Like, I got a couple other guys here that
she should have
actually do want me and are here for me 100%. Yeah, absolutely. What are your thoughts?
Well, one, the fellas that were not fazed by Logan coming to their side, kudos. Kudos to them, because it's your relationship with Gabby, right? And so you shouldn't be fazed by no other guy. The Kim K thing, she was not trying to make Kanye jealous whatsoever. Make that clear. And
you think she was just using Pete?
She said it.
Did she? She came out and said that verbatim?
She said she wanted Pete's magic stick.
Yeah, he had that BDE going on. He wanted some of that.
What she wanted some of that.
So she just used them and left them.
Hey, she used them, he needed a new battery pack, so she had to go somewhere else.
But he was, according to reports, he was also pressed a little bit. He supposedly proposed to her. Like, sometimes you could screw things up. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could try to be moving too fast when you first get with somebody.
Who ain't gonna try to marry Kim K?
You think he wanted that bag?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's a part of it. Like, it's a part of what you get.
It's a perk. It's a perk.
It's a definite perk, right? And then he wanted to probably make her have a fifth kid. I don't know. But what I do know is I have been through that situation as well. Post-show, actually, I was talking to this girl. It wasn't 3 months. It was maybe like 2 weeks, right? 3 weeks. 3 weeks
Okay.
in.
So it was early.
And
all right.
it was, brand new, 2-3 weeks in. And I didn't know this until like after we had spoke or whatever. But the conversation started to dwindle or whatever the case may be, like you were saying. And when we spoke again, she told me the whole story. The story was basically, I think her ex found out that her and I were talking, right? I don't know how he found out. Maybe her stories. And then, or IG stories. And then he starts to go and tell her all these bad things about me. Oh, you liking this dude? He on The Bachelor. Like, he doing X, Y, and Z. First off,
what's wrong with that? those are all positive.
Rule, number 1333. Don't be talking bad on no other dude, bro. Like, you don't know me.
Yeah.
And then saying all these bad things, and penetrating her mind with just this negative stuff about me. She feels bad. She, steps away from me, goes to him. He love bombs her for about 3 months, giving her all the love bombs her. We know the definition. And then they break up. Then she hits me up. And then we talk about it or whatever the case may be. And she told me flat out that's what he was doing to her. And so it does happen. It's sad.
So wait, did you give her the deuces? Like, did you give her another chance or?
I'm not gonna lie, I tried to, but I didn't like that. I didn't like that she didn't give me the opportunity. I didn't like that she didn't allow my voice to be heard. If we were steady talking, I was liking it, and she didn't let my voice be heard. So I tried it, but ultimately I couldn't do it.
I get that.
I couldn't do it. But I got a question though. Something I think I want to start asking is like, do you and Rachel's like zodiac signs match?
Taurus and Aquarius. I have no idea.
Talking about family, does Taurus and Aquarius signs match?
I got to look that up. love compatibility for Aquarius and Taurus.
Well, what I do know is this past week's episode, Rachel told Aven that their zodiac signs matches, and so that was a big spark in her eyes. And so let's talk to the man himself. Let's talk it out with Aven and see where he lies with Rachel.
Let's do it.
We got the pretty boy Floyd himself in the house.
What's going on, fellas? How you doing?
I call him Mike. I call him the smooth operator.
Because,
bro, it seemed like he was a natural out there, bro. Like, just the game, like, just the smoothness. It was like,
Bryan,
this ain't no thing. There's no cameras around. Like, I got this.
when you're born with God-given looks, you gonna be smooth.
Oh man, coming from you two, that means a lot. Coming from you two, oh man.
No, Aven, I've seen you out now. You a good-looking brother. Come on now.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, we just met you in Austin. It was good to actually meet you in person.
It was only
over the phone. Quick second.
Tequila in my system.
Yeah, quick second. No.
Yeah, quick second.
So what's going on, man? How you doing? You flying high after last night?
Yeah, last night was a big one. You anticipate, having like that one-on-one date, the entire time you're there, and then it finally comes, and it's your time that that's kind of like your coming out type of party thing. So I was looking forward to it. I think it went well. I was definitely satisfied with everything that they showed, and I think it gave people a little bit of a better look into my personality. So I appreciated that for sure.
Well, the people are definitely wanting more of you. And I have a feeling that we will get to see a lot more of you as time goes on with y'all's one-on-one date. It was amazing to see.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it, guys.
And I gotta ask you.
Yeah.
What about Rachel turns you on?
Turns me on. Wow. I think one thing that was important to me was, that first night when you get there, like your emotions are high, energy's high. There's a lot going on. There's people running around. You're nervous about the cameras. You're nervous about the setup and all that kind of stuff. So I was fortunate to have the opportunity to actually talk to Rachel on the phone. I mean, genuinely, from the moment I sat down with her, it was like all that stuff went away. I was immediately comfortable. I was like, this is one of those situations where it feels normal. We're having a normal conversation. I think one of the things that attracted me to her right off the bat was like the comfortability factor I had with her so early on. It made things so much easier. And then, of course, when we got to talking, she's very passionate about her career. She has family-oriented goals, all that kind of stuff. She's, of course, beautiful, stunningly gorgeous. So there's a lot, man. There's a lot about Rachel that gets me going,
And talk to me about that physical connection, man. Like, how important is that for you in creating a long-lasting relationship?
Yeah, absolutely. The physical aspect of things is obviously important, especially, in those circumstances. It's important for the physical connection to be natural. You don't want it to be forced. And with me and Rachel, it was definitely very, very natural from the beginning. So that was another thing I appreciated. There was no like awkward touching. There was no, hey, I'll put my hand on your lap, or she'll lean on my shoulder, and all that kind of stuff just came very, very fluid and natural. So yeah, just added to the comfortability factor. The physical connection was there from the beginning.
Love that.
Aven, you seem like a guy that is very smooth and comfortable in a lot of situations and settings. So I wouldn't expect nothing different from you. But hey. I have to ask you, man, it's just the fellas talking, okay?
Yeah.
After watching this past week's episode, I know that Rachel's eyes had lit up when she found out that you were a Scorpio because she's a Pisces.
Yeah.
And y'all apparently matched. Do you know much about your zodiac sign?
I'll be honest, I really don't. My mom is big into that horoscope stuff, and like if you're a Gemini and you're an Aries, you guys match or mesh or whatever. But yeah, she asked me that. Like we were like obviously having a conversation before. She asked me that, and I was like, yeah, I'm a Scorpio, and she just like, ooh, Scorpio Pisces, like that's a match. And I think there's like a clip of me going, yep, check that one off the box.
So you just rolled with it. I have no idea if that's true or accurate, but
I
love it.
Bryan, you would do the same thing.
It's like as long as she believes it, that's all that matters.
Hey, as long as I'm not like the worst guy, I'm a good guy in that case, we're good. Yeah. We're good to go.
Yeah. I know there's like a whole book you can buy where it's like if you're a Cancer, you match up with whatever it is. So
just Google it. Yeah, just Google it.
Wait, I know the beautiful Bachelor Nation fan base. You have to tell me, Aven, if you know the answer. What time were you born?
What time? I believe I was in the morning. I think I was a little after 10 a.m. on a Saturday.
10 a.m. on a Saturday.
And I think it was like 10 on a Saturday. November 6th.
Okay.
November 6th, yeah.
Now, the people that like all that stuff, 10 on a Saturday, November 6th. What year?
93.
93. In what city?
Boston.
Boston.
Well,
there you go.
Beverly, Massachusetts.
Beverly. I don't know what to do with that, but somebody out there knows what to do with that.
They'll have a full two-page report.
Like, he doesn't know how to do this or that. If he was born at 10
I'm not
o'clock.
gonna lie, but I don't know. But I am listening to our audience members in my head right now. They're telling me to ask you these questions, so I wanted to make sure I asked you those questions.
Yep, I think it was 10:10 on a Saturday for everyone out there. So.
Okay, there you go. So, Aven, man, Rachel mentioned that she actually described you as really romantic. Do you actually consider yourself a romantic guy?
I do, yeah. When I'm into somebody, when I'm trying to pursue someone, when I, care about a connection, yeah, I can definitely be romantic. But it's not something that I'm going to just do for every willy-nilly out there. You know what I mean? I have to actually like you, and there has to be something there. But once I get there with somebody, yeah, for sure. I definitely feel like I can be romantic.
What's your longest relationship, Aven?
My longest relationship was 3 years. There was a couple breaks in between, but pretty steady, I would say, for 3 years. So
let me ask you this: on that third year, what was the most romantic thing that you did?
Most romantic thing that we did, we took a trip to Hawaii together.
Okay. Did you do that, or did she do that?
It was a mutual thing, but for us to kind of do that was one of the most romantic things we had done up until that point. Nice. It was amazing trip. It was fun. Hawaii. It's tough to have a bad time there. Right?
Yeah, right. If you don't mind me asking, why did that relationship end? And what did you learn from it? What did you learn from it going into this experience?
Yeah, definitely. There was a lot of, back and forth, and I wouldn't go into details out of respect for the other person and everything like that.
Fair.
But, there was just a lot of things that happened where we would, go on breaks or maybe for a month or have a disagreement about something and go 2 weeks. And there was just, I said this in the episode last night, there wasn't really much stability in the relationship. So I felt like I got to a point where I was at the age where, man, if I'm not 100% invested or if I'm not 100% happy with where I'm at, I'm too old to be kind of just wasting time at this point. I'm really looking for something serious and something long lasting and all that kind of stuff. So I just decided it was time to move on for the best for both of us, and I just made that decision. And I took about a year off from any kind of serious dating before going on the show. So,
Mike, do
yeah.
you believe in breaks? I don't believe in breaks.
Aven,
Me
I'm trying
personally,
to
I
come
don't
at
know.
you. My co-host just asked me the question. No, I do not personally.
So it's like,
Yeah.
you're done, basically. Like,
Exactly. Yeah.
But I mean, I think Aven has, he just said it himself. He learned a lot in that relationship and learned that he wants stability. So, it's not for me. It's a no for me on the breaks. I can't be taking a break every other week. This ain't college.
Yeah.
Already
over
semester here,
something
spring break
super
here.
small or super big, it doesn't matter if it's you're going 2 weeks, a month, 3 months, or whatever the case may be. You're just going to come back and probably have more issues because they're going to be wondering what you did on the break and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's never healthy like that for sure.
It's just more drama.
Yeah.
What would she say about you?
My last relationship?
Yeah.
I think she would say positive things. Like I said, overall, the relationship was pretty positive. There was a lot of great moments, good moments. We shared a lot of stuff together, like family.
Do you
She
have
met
anything
my
specific
parents.
that she would share?
I would say that I'm very particular, like organized, tedious person.
Same, man.
I have a slight case of OCD when it comes to like knowing where my stuff is and being on a schedule and going to the gym, all that kind of stuff. I'm very particular about. So I think that's definitely something that she would say.
And then, Aven, when it comes to the routine, man, and just being same day in and day out, some of the most successful people, they say, have a routine. Whether that routine is to routinely do something that's not in routine every Saturday, right? Or the routine is to go travel somewhere every single month. And so I think that's a good thing. So definitely don't harp yourself on that. I don't think that you are.
For sure, man.
But Aven, we're barging on you about your relationship status. But like, bro, we want to know who you are. The fans, the ladies want to know who that pretty boy right there. That's what they want to know.
I'm only focused on one lady right now, and
you are only focused on one lady, but we're focused on who you are as a man. So can you who were you your freshman year of college?
Where was I my freshman year of college?
You're taking it back right now.
We're just taking a stab of the dark in the timeline, huh? Yeah, I went to the University of Massachusetts, Dartmouth campus. It's like a small Division III school out of Boston. I played college basketball there.
Nice.
So my freshman year, I had my first year in college. I was excited. Just moved into the dorms. I was taking all the gen ed classes, hooping it up in the winter. Was going home in the summer, working, random jobs, all that kind of stuff to build cash for. So yeah, I was in school, doing my thing. I didn't have a girlfriend or anything like that. I was on my own. Made some really good friends from the team, some long-lasting friends that I'm still friends with to this day. So that was something that I valued. But yeah, just in school doing my thing freshman year, what was that, 2012, 10 years ago.
You a big Celtics fan?
I'm actually not, to be honest. This is always something that
good.
This is always something that gets done. From Boston originally. I root for Boston and everything but basketball. I'm a big LeBron stan, which people are probably going to hate. So
that's fair.
Yeah.
Well, people in Boston are not going to like that. That's fair.
No, my friends hate it, but I'm that
Jason
guy.
Tatum was great.
Jason Tatum was great. He can definitely. He's got a bright future ahead of him for sure.
So what are you doing for a living, man?
Yeah, so I kind of work in a niche market. I work in education sales, a company called Cengage. My company develops online curriculums and textbooks and online homework learning platforms for universities. So I manage a territory based out of San Diego and Hawaii, and I work with instructors, professors, department leads, and they basically pick textbooks for the courses that their students are going to take, and I help them build the curriculum. I help them pick the right text. I show them the online homework platform that we develop, and it's pretty interesting market. Not too popular, but I love it. I get to travel. I get to go to Hawaii, like once a month, which is awesome.
It's a nice perk.
Yeah,
Go
ahead.
Is that what you kind of were set to do coming out of college, or did that just kind of come out of the blue?
Yeah, it kind of came out of the blue, to be honest. I actually I worked in medical device sales for 4 years.
Okay.
So I went right into kind of the medical field. I got my degree in marketing, so kind of the route you take with that degree fresh out of college is some type of sales role. So I got the opportunity to work in medical sales for a while for a bunch of different industries like diabetic, home telehealth, all software, all kinds of stuff. Very stagnant industry, very stagnant industry. So I was, ready for a change, something more exciting, and I got presented with the opportunity to work in education. So jumped on it. It's been amazing so far. It's fun. It's always changing. It's exciting to be on college campuses working with professors and stuff. It's kind of nostalgic to a point, you know what I mean? So I've enjoyed it so far. I'm really happy with my career and where I'm at for sure.
I love that for you. Where are you going to be at in 10 years?
Ooh, that's a loaded question.
I'll tell you why I'm asking the question.
Yeah.
Based on your personality, for one, you to me seem grounded. Yeah. You, when I've met you before and now speaking to you, you seem to be, clear sight. Like I would say, horse with blinders on, right? You're just focused on what you have to do. And so you seem like nothing can taint you per se, which are all great things. So like, who is Aven at 38?
That's a good question. I want, to have been found my geographical place of living. Right now, I live in Southern California. I don't know if I'll be here in the next 10 years, but hopefully by 38, I figured out if this is the place for me or not. And being settled down by 38 at that point, I would want to be, married, hopefully have, a kid or two, have a
outside
family.
Of relationships. Outside of relationships. More so about you, Aven, and things that you envision for yourself. Trying to get to know you on a deeper level.
Yeah, for sure. I think the career I'm in could be long lasting. I could see myself there in 10 years. So hopefully moving up within the ranks of my company, maybe getting a little bit of a higher level role. So having the stable career thing, also I enjoy doing things outside of, lifestyle wise, like, playing basketball on a regular basis, joining clubs, getting together with groups and stuff like that. So hopefully I have some type of hobbies and friend groups and things going on at 38 that, I can hang my hat on outside of work and stuff like that. So I would say, overall, that's probably it.
Aven, are you, so you mentioned that you travel a lot for your job, right?
Decent amount. I'm pretty local, and I manage University of San Diego as one of my accounts, so I go there a lot, which is pretty local. But yeah, I get to go to Hawaii every once in a while to work with my instructors out there, which is fun. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was going to ask you, like, as far as you being in a relationship, like with you possibly traveling a lot, like what are you looking for when it comes to that? Like, you want somebody that's going to be accepting of your career? Because I feel like that's a theme on the show as well, with Rachel being a pilot and things like that. Like, are you not only do you expect your partner to handle that in a good manner, but also, maybe you think you'll be able to, be okay with that if your partner traveled a lot?
I mean, yeah, for sure. I think if, traveling's a part of what you do, if it's a part of your career, if it's a part of your life, the person that you pick to spend your life with, has to be accepting of that because it's going to be a part of their life. So I think if someone's not willing to sacrifice that end of it, it's not an issue. It's just maybe not that much of a, the situation might not work. So, yeah, I mean, I don't travel to the point where I think it would affect a relationship.
Got it.
But you guys brought up Rachel. Yeah, she's a pilot. Not to say that her relationships are affected by the travel aspect of things, but that's a big part of her life. So that's definitely a conversation that she likes to have and see if you're okay with. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Before she jumps into something serious, because, it is a part of your life. And if you're willing to accept that aspect of her life, then, things can work. So that's kind of how I look at it.
Definitely so.
Nice.
And with Rachel, you guys' date on this past week's episode, you had mentioned that growing up, you had a split time between your parents and that you didn't get to see your mom much at all. Can you elaborate on that and tell us a bit more about your childhood?
Yeah. I mean, it's obviously like I could go on for days about it, but, my parents were just, the classic and were never really together, kind of had me out of a relationship. And then, kind of after I was born, kind of split up. So my dad moved to Boston. My mom is actually originally from Chicago. So she stayed back in Chicago. And their agreement as parents, just to kind of keep things out of the courts and all that kind of stuff, was, Aven's going to go live with mom till he's this age, which was 10, and then go live with dad, learn how to be a man. I need that male figure in my life growing up, from there. But the way things like sort of transpired with it was once I moved with my dad back to Boston for good, pretty much, I just didn't get to see mom that much. She lived in a different state. As I got older, I started getting more involved in things. Like I was playing a lot of ball, so traveling a lot, all that kind of stuff. And our schedule, it was tough. I mean, it's your parents, so you want to make time, but it was always difficult for us to kind of link up and mesh up. So yeah, our relationship, essentially, we would talk on the phone a lot. I'd get to see her, maybe once a year for a certain amount. But yeah, that was just a part of it. I got used to it. And, thankfully now I have the means to pretty much do whatever I want, and so I can go see her whenever I want. I can have her come see me whenever I want. So things have definitely gotten a lot better as I've gotten older.
Love that
Nice,
for you.
man.
I don't think that's too. I think it's pretty cool actually to live with one
Yeah.
parent for first half of your childhood, and another parent for the
Yeah.
second half of your childhood.
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
pretty cool in my opinion.
I mean, my parents are two different, like way two different people. So it's nice to have the different aspect of like my mom and my dad, the way they go about life, the way they live their life. I've tried to take the best from both of them
Best of
and then
both.
create, as much as I can for myself. And that obviously wouldn't have been possible if they would have stayed together. I would have looked at them as a unit. So in its ways, it had its benefits. I'm not trying to, it's not the sad boy story. It's just, just how things worked out for me.
I'm sure
Yeah.
they're both proud of you.
I appreciate that, man.
Oh man, and Aven, when you gave that bracelet to Rachel that your mom made, I was
Yeah.
like, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. Shut it down. Shut it down. That was, I mean, you want to talk about romantic and just such a sentimental gesture. I mean, she, like, her eyes, like, lit up because, she was going through a tough time at that point in her journey, just doubting everything, people rejecting her, and she was going through a tough time. And I feel like you came in at the perfect time with the perfect gift. I mean, tell us about that, man.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you guys have seen up until this point, there was so many different situations where, things are just coming out of, like, she's getting blindsided by stuff. People just, hey, I'm going to go this side, or, I'm not really feeling this, or whatever the case may be. I just felt like week to week, she was just having such a difficult time. And I definitely tried to utilize that one-on-one date to just really, really reassure her that, hey, I know things have been tough. I know some guys have done this kind of stuff, but, I'm here. I'm still here. I'm here for you. I'm sitting right here, and I think that I have something that could maybe cheer you up and lift your spirits and maybe give you some good positive energy to get you through the rest of this experience. So I just thought it was a good time to do it. I had been thinking about it for a while, but obviously didn't want to throw too much at her at once. But so I felt like that dinner conversation we had was a good time to say what I was on my mind about it and give her that. So I think she appreciated it and made me happy that she accepted it.
That was awesome.
She definitely appreciated it, man. And then you guys, when you were talking about when you lifted up the veil,
Yeah.
how was that moment for you?
It's actually funny. So I don't know if you guys heard the sound bit, but when I walked up there, I looked at them. I'm like, what are you guys doing? You guys knitting? They're like, no, we're not knitting. This isn't knitting. But I'm like, oh, my bad. But yeah, no, it was kind of like I want to say out of body experience. It was just, it makes you like really think into the future when you do something like that. I obviously never done that before. It's a big moment, and it means a lot to, especially a woman whose the end goal here is for that. So, it was one of those things where I was going with the flow, and I lifted it up, and I was like, wow, this is actually a very like rewarding. This could be a very rewarding moment if it was like in real time. I can see why people value this moment in their lives so much, because you lift that up and it's just like the unveiling of like the rest of your life. Your forever is right there. So
you envisioned like in that moment, like you at the altar doing all that.
How can you not, right? You're lifting up a veil. There's really nothing else you're thinking about at that point.
I mean, I could think back where like other guys on this show have been in that situation where it's like either they're start looking at wedding rings or the unveiling of a veil, and they get intimidated, man. It didn't really look like you were rattled at all. Like you were all in, all for it.
Yeah, no, I think having such a good day up until that point definitely helped with like the nerves and not being like thrown off by anything that was getting thrown at us on this date. So the veil thing was just another part of the date. And I was just like, yeah, this is awesome. I'm kind of living in the moment here. I lifted the veil up, threw it back, and I was like, wow, you look amazing. Obviously, this is like a big moment for us. And, obviously we shared a kiss, and the rest is history. So
absolutely.
So when you share that kiss with her under the veil, like Bryan had mentioned, some guys like step out, get scared. You were very strong in your positioning.
It's confident.
I appreciate that.
Could you see yourself getting down on a knee?
Yeah, I mean, I think, in that very, very moment, that was our first one-on-one date. But it was definitely something that crosses your mind, in terms of, like I said, the situation that you're in. You're unveiling you're lifting a veil over, a young lady's head, and it's a part of the experience. So all you can think about is down the line. All that you think about is this something I could see with this person? Is this something that is in our future together? So there's definitely something that crossed my mind for sure in that moment.
I've never done that before, so I can't even imagine.
I mean, it was also
Sorry.
just, sorry, I'm talking over you. It was also one of those situations where like the ladies in the background were like kind of cracking jokes as we did it. And so it wasn't as like dramatic as maybe.
They lightened the moment a little bit. They lightened the moment
it
a
up.
little
Yeah.
bit. Okay.
This
They're
is
like,
where we're
ooh,
at.
look at him lift it up, all that kind of stuff. And I'm just like kind of laughing, whatever. So
So you were, like you said, you were going with it.
I was just going with it, man. It was a part of the
fair.
date. It was fun. It was fun.
So, man, talk to me about, like, before you went on this show, like this whirlwind that you're on right now. You're obviously killing it at this point in the season. Tell me about, how did you get nominated for the show?
Yeah. It's actually, I mean, it's probably happened to a million people, but I got nominated anonymously. So I still to this day don't know who it is.
Right,
I know.
Wow,
so
that's
I
pretty
have
cool.
like, I know. So I feel like every time I'm around a group of friends or like even some relatives, I'm like looking around the room. I'm like, which one of you was, you know what I mean? So it's exciting, but yeah, I got nominated anonymously, which pretty much like in layman's terms is someone out there thought I was, in a tough spot or sad or needed to go on the journey for my wife. And that's kind of how I looked at it. But yeah, I got contacted and, first thing I did was call my parents and I was like, hey, this is an opportunity that presented itself. What do you guys think? And one thing that my mom actually said to me that resonated was she was like, why don't you just get to a point where if they offer you to be on the show, then just make the decision from there. So I just went through the whole entire process and got to the point where they offered it. And then I had about a week or two to make a decision. And I was like, feel like I'm in a good space for this. I feel like I'm emotionally, physically, mentally ready to do something like this, and kind of just jumped on it and said, let's go, let's do it. I'm excited. So
Did you ever watch the show before? Because I'm curious as to like someone, putting you up for the show. Did you ever watch it and speak about it with friends, family?
Yeah, I've watched bits and pieces. One of the seasons that I watched from front to back for the first time was actually Hannah's season. That was your season, right, Mike?
Yeah.
Yeah. I pretty much watched that season from front to back. I don't know what that year sparked my friend group to want to watch that season. I mean, you guys' season was great. But,
I mean, we had a wonderful Bachelorette and a great group of guys. So yeah.
Great group of guys. Yeah.
It's entertaining for damn sure.
Very, very entertaining. But yeah, no, other than that, I was not like a big, I wasn't like a big Bachelor Nation advocate. I wasn't following all the kind of stuff, but I had seen bits and pieces, and your season, I had watched pretty much the entire thing. So,
because if I was in your position, I would be like trying to break it down. Who have I watched this show with? Right.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, like, who is help?
I got my little list of theories of people who I think it is, but I'll probably never figured it out, and that's kind of the exciting part, right?
How funny would it be if like you end up with Rachel and like at the altar, like somebody just whispers in your ear, like, it was me.
You can thank me for that.
Yeah, exactly. You can thank me later. It's like, right? I just got you a wife. Man, talk to me about, did you know that there was going to be two bachelorettes? Like, obviously going through the process, usually early on, you don't know. But once you found out it was Gabby and Rachel, did you hone in on Rachel right away? Did you have your eye on her from before? Talk to me about that.
Yeah, I had no idea that it was going to be two. I don't think anybody did. I was pleasantly surprised. I was shocked because obviously they've never done that before. And first thing I thought of was just like, how am I going to navigate this? Like, how am I going to, I felt like, so what I initially thought was that we were going to show up and they were going to be like, all right, you have to go for this one. You have to go for that one. That's how I thought it was going to work. Because I thought it might get a little too messy, people jumping back and forth. But come to find out, obviously, we got to make our own decisions, which worked out for the best for everyone. But yeah, I was shocked. I was excited. Like I said, I went there kind of open mind, open heart. I was ready to go. And I didn't pinpoint one of them from the beginning. I had like a slight, I would say, preference to Rachel. But I went there, willing to get to know the both of them fairly. And I think that's fair to both of them and, all you can do. I mean.
So what was that? What was that point in the journey where you were like, Rachel?
I think it was our second conversation. I think it was the group day after the Speedo stuff. I got
Okay.
I got invited to the group date after the Speedo stuff. We had a conversation, and I think right there I knew. And up until that point, to be honest with you guys, I had just had more time with her, so our relationship was just progressing a lot faster
Yeah.
than the conversation that I had with Gabby. So yeah, I felt I was like, hey, this seems right. I'm gonna go for this, and I had already heard rumblings of people in the house that were really, really, really feeling Gabby. So I was like, you know what, you guys sound like you have a really stronger connection with Gabby. I'm feeling good about Rachel. I'm just gonna focus my attention here and let the rest fall into place. So I think it was like second conversation I knew. Yeah, pretty early on.
I think that's perfectly fine to weigh it out and then make your decision, because this is an unprecedented season. And
Absolutely.
I want to go back to that. You had mentioned that you thought they were going to tell you guys, have you guys go this way, have you guys go this way, but they allowed you guys to make your own decisions, right?
Yeah.
And something that you've mentioned a few times is stability and security.
Mm-hmm.
And when Logan went from trying to go after the woman that you were going after to switching over and going after Gabby, you must have some thoughts on that. Wondering what you were thinking.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's experience was different. I can't speak on how Logan was feeling in those moments, and I knowing him as a person, I know that those feelings were they were genuine. He at points was just very conflicted about what he wanted to do, and I mean, he's a human being at the end of the day. You know what I mean? So it was just tough to see how it affected Rachel and Gabby. That was the hard part, because we're all trying to follow our heart. We're all trying to do what's right. We're all trying to do right by, both of these young women. And it was tough to see the effect that it had on them. So like, for example, when I knew Rachel had a tough time up until that point, and obviously the Logan situation isn't going to help with that. So I'm trying to figure out what I can do to help her situation, not so much focus on where he's at and what he's doing with his little.
So did you think that he should not have accepted that rose at the end of that episode? And what would, how do you see that? Like, do you think he should have told her before?
Man, it's such a difficult situation. I like I said, I can't really speak. I don't know what I would do in that situation. So I don't really know what the right answer is. I mean, if you don't accept the rose, then you're out of there, and you never really got to tell Gabby how you felt. And if you do accept the rose, you're hurting Rachel. So there's really no win-win there.
There is a third option.
The
third option is, as you get the rose, say, hey, can I speak to both of you, please?
I think bringing them both in would have been productive. But yeah, I mean, he ultimately made the decision for himself, what he thought was right. It affected both of them in different ways. And it was something that we all had to just kind of be like, hey, this is where we're at now, and we need to do our best to continue to try to progress where we're at. I'm totally focused on where I'm at and what me and Rachel have going on, and not so much what everybody else does.
I agree with you that Logan was definitely sincere. Was there ever a moment, and I feel like I know the answer because you're extremely well spoken.
I appreciate that, man.
Was there ever a moment to where you wanted with Rachel, to where it was almost hard seeing her sad about these other guys wanting to go to Gabby, when you're like, hey, I'm a beautifully made human being and I'm here for you?
Yeah, I mean, not so much thinking in terms of my own, like, hey, I'm here, type of thing, but it's just more of just seeing her upset. It's never difficult when you're really getting to know somebody, you're building connection with somebody, you start building really, really strong feelings for someone. You don't want to see them upset in any type of situation. So that was the difficult part, in seeing her upset over all these different types of things that were going on. And I wasn't trying to focus so much on, hey, Rachel, by the way, I'm still here. Why are you sad? It's like, there's a reason she's sad.
Yeah.
It's because of what transpired.
Even if you said that, I'm coming at you.
Yeah. And so I just try to do my best to be there for her in those tough situations, rather than harp on the fact that maybe she wasn't thinking about the fact that there were still people here. I don't know. So
yeah, you didn't take it personal. You just focused on your relationship. I love that. And you definitely made her feel safe and appreciated. Like, do you have any tips out there for guys that, who want to make their partners feel seen? Being the smooth operator that you are, you did an excellent job at that.
And I'm no expert, man. We all have our different situations. Advice, I don't know. I think one thing I try to do a lot to really show somebody that I'm trying to really be affectionate towards them, be be present with them is listen to what they're saying and respond to what they're saying. So anytime me and Rachel are having a conversation, whether it's about family, whether it's about what's going on in the moment, I'm genuinely listening, and I'm trying to come up with a personal experience or something that I can respond with back to her, so that she knows I'm engaged in what's going on. Because I feel like a lot of times you can get caught up in, hey, we're all lovey-dovey, like we're attracted to each other, and then they might say something important, you might miss it and be like, oh, I didn't even realize you said that, I was just like staring at you know what I mean, type of thing. So trying to be engaged in conversation, I think responding to people and when they're really trying to vent to you and stuff like that is important. I think that can help a lot of situations.
Listen up, gentlemen. Listening.
I'm about to say, look at
something as simple as listening.
Well.
It's hard for a lot of guys, though. I get what he's saying right there. You know what I'm saying? Like, how many women do you hear like, oh, my guy just doesn't listen to me or doesn't, pay attention to me?
Yeah,
it's an issue. You got to pay attention, guys.
Hey,
do like Aven.
You got to listen. You got to listen to them back.
Be like Aven.
Be like Aven. There you go.
Hashtag be like Aven.
Sounds like a T-shirt or something. Be like Aven.
Oh man.
So Aven, so far on the show, what has been the feedback from your family and friends?
Good. I think it's all been positive. I think early on there was a lot of just so many things happening that I don't think there was one person who was getting who was being shown a lot type of thing. So, but overall positive on my end. I think everybody's had nothing but good things to say about the relationship that me and Rachel are showing. And that they, people say that I'm carrying myself well. Hopefully it looks that way.
You're definitely carrying yourself well.
I appreciate that. I definitely was just trying to be myself. The one thing I said to myself before going there was I'm not gonna act like somebody I'm not. And if they don't accept me for who I am, then I probably shouldn't be there in the first place, type of thing. So I just went in there, tried to be myself, and focused on my relationship with Rachel and took it from there. So yeah, it's been nothing but positive feedback so far. Hopefully that continues.
Do you watch the show by yourself, or are you let's get together as a family and maybe add some friends to the mix and watch it all together?
Yeah, I've watched a few episodes with friends. I don't have any family out here in Southern California. So my parents will call me the next day and be like, hey, you did a great job last night. I didn't.
Little recap talk.
Yeah, they're like, I still can't believe we're seeing you on the screen. It's crazy, all that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, I watched a few alone. I watched a few episodes alone. And I've watched some with friends. So both positive experiences.
Did you get any advice? I'm sorry, Mike.
Man, no, the exact same question.
Really?
The exact same question.
I see you, bro. I see you.
Advice from people watching, what I should do next or something?
Or going on the show. Did you get any advice as far as what to do, how to act, whatever?
Yeah, no, I think, both my parents just reiterated, just be yourself, just be you. If you're you, I think that one of them will like you. I think that you'll be able to build a connection with somebody if you just act like yourself. I think, some people definitely go on any type of show and they try to do all the theatrics and stuff. And that's not who I am. It's not how I was, raised and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, just try to be myself, and it's been working out. It worked out for me. It worked out for me so far. So that's the advice I got.
It's working out great for you. And also that's pretty easy advice to give your son when he's just a great human being.
Oh man, you guys
just be you, baby. Yeah, just be you, son. It's going to work out.
One of them is bound to like you.
Yeah, one of them's bound to like you.
One of them's got to like your corny jokes.
It's a 50-50 chance you have, son. Did y'all talk about that in the house, on night one, not past that, but this is a 50-50 shot here. From a mathematical standpoint, you have a higher chance.
Yeah, no, it's definitely something you think about. I think it was more of people not trying to step on toes. It's like, well, if I have a really great conversation with Gabby, am I going to feel bad going to have a good conversation with Rachel? I think that's what a lot of guys were thinking. So as much as you got the 50-50 chance, but you're also trying to just do right. You're trying to do the right thing and not make one of them feel unseen and seen, and vice versa. So it was difficult in the beginning to kind of figure out what everybody wanted to do.
Can completely see that. Was it like that way amongst the gentlemen as well? Or was it
you mean in us getting to know each other as the guys?
No, for when it was let's say one of the other guys in the house, let's say Nate, for example, he's had a great go with Gabby thus far.
Yep.
Was there ever a point to where you guys were like, hey man, that's my girl, bro? Was there?
I get what you're saying.
Or was it the same? Because we were on the show as well. Bryan's wife, is from his Bachelorette, right? So was there ever a moment of
for sure,
trying not to step on each other's toes in that regard?
I honestly, I don't know. I wasn't involved. If anything like that transpired, I wasn't involved in it.
Bryan
I think
loves that answer.
I will say
He
though,
was
I will say
focused, man.
this.
He was focused.
I will say this, Mike and Bryan. I will say that I think all of the guys did a phenomenal job of keeping their individual relationships separate from the guys. Does that make sense? Like people weren't coming back to groups or like little conversations talking about what they just talked about with Rachel, what they just talked about with Gabby, how their one-on-one date went, out of respect for everyone involved. You know what I mean? Like I don't like, I know Tyler doesn't want to hear about how my one-on-one date went. Zach doesn't want to hear about how Tino's one-on-one date went. Like that, it was like a respect thing. It was like, hey, we're going to keep the relationship separate. And then we can all kind of mesh and vibe on the logistics of everything. But as far as your individual relationship with the girls and I mean, the women, yeah, we kept that separate.
It seems like there wasn't a lot of there. I understand what you're saying. It doesn't seem like there is a lot of drama between the men. I mean, is that something that is going to pick up as the season goes on? Can you give us a little preview?
He said, I don't know.
I don't know, man. I'm not the dramatic one, so you're gonna have to ask somebody else on that. I'm not the drama guy.
So, this is my last question for you, man. And you've been a great guest. Talking about logistics, you had mentioned that word earlier.
Yeah.
I remember when you said you watch our season. There were times where you kind of walk in on something that you don't want to see. You walk in on somebody kissing on your girl. Mm-hmm. Did that ever happen to you?
No, I don't think I ever walked in on anybody kissing. But I had seen some stuff like at like a cocktail party out of the corner of my eye or something, and I'm like, I don't want to see that.
I want to see it.
That's not real. That's a facade. I don't want to see it.
I want to know that.
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Fair.
Oh, love that. So, man, what's the most significant thing that you've learned about yourself going on this journey?
That's a great question. I would say, oh man, I think I learned a lot about how to open up to somebody early on. I learned a lot about how important it is to open up to somebody early on in getting to know someone. Holding things back or holding back your character or your life experiences or personal situations, all that kind of stuff, that's a value to people who are trying to get to know you. It shows who you are. I was never really good at that before this, and I think this, has definitely taught me that that's important. So I would say opening up early on it's important when it comes to getting to know someone, because you're hiding stuff, you're holding stuff back, and people can't really get to see the true you. So
true.
Yeah,
with that, I have to ask you, what's your gem for today, man?
My gem? Oh yeah. Actually, something I was thinking about the other day. It's also kind of slightly funny, but not really, because it matters a lot. But my dad growing up, anytime like I would do anything really, he would always make sure to say, he'd be like, pay yourself first. And like when you're a kid growing up, you always think that has to do with like financials, right? It's like, oh, anytime you make a little bit of money, make sure you put a little aside before you like pay your bills or do what you got to do. You want to take a vacation, all that kind of stuff. He would just say, pay yourself first all the time. And as I got older, I started to realize that he would say it in different situations. Like if I was going in for a job interview, he'd be like, make sure you pay yourself first. I'm like, Dad, what are you talking about? But I realize now, being a lot older and having conversations with him, that he was talking about make sure that you're good with yourself and where you're at before you make any type of big life decision. Now that can be financial, that can be in a relationship, that can be for a job, that can be for relocating somewhere. Just make sure that you're in a good space with who you are. Make sure you're paying yourself first, paying your mental, paying your emotional, paying your physical, before you do anything. So you can give 100% of everything you do. And it kind of all came full circle. As you get older, you listen to your parents when you're younger. You're like, what are you talking about? Now it all makes sense. So.
Oh, that's what he was saying.
Yeah, exactly.
Dad's a wise man.
Dad's a wise one, for sure. He'll be glad to hear that on this podcast.
Love that.
I'm telling that boy that his whole life.
He's finally listening to me now.
Yeah, exactly.
Isn't that how it always works? Like when we're younger, it's like, what are you talking about? And then now as we get older, it's like, yep, they were always right.
For sure, man.
Absolutely.
Like I said earlier, I'm sure both of your parents are extremely proud of you. We loved having you here on Talking It Out. Can't wait to see what continues to unfold from your love story.
Yeah, man, it's been an honor, you two, man. I've been watching the show. You guys do a great job. I'm really honored to have for you guys to have me on. It means a lot. Mike, you crushed Family Feud the other night, by the way. I watched it. You did a good job.
I appreciate that.
Maybe we'll be seeing you on that show later on in the future, man.
We will be seeing way more of you.
Oh, man, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, man. Thanks for coming on.
I think that Aven, I told him, very good head on his shoulders, man.
Yeah, very good. Like,
Very good head on his shoulders.
he just seems like a natural in this. Like other people, I remember how nervous I was on the show, but it just kind of seems effortless for him, right? It's just like, hey, man, it's just you and me, him and Rachel, just talking it out and, having a great time, being romantic, the whole nine. I mean, he's crushing it on the show right now. I think a lot of people, especially with that one-on-one last night, a lot of America fell in love with him. So
Absolutely. Another thing about Aven, man, is that he's extremely unique in the fact that I don't feel that he's doing this for any reason other than trying to find his soulmate.
yeah, no,
He has no ulterior motives. He doesn't care about IG followers. He doesn't care to, brand his business or his personality more. He strictly is trying to find his boo thing.
yeah, he seems like a very genuine dude, and he is really into Rachel, as we could all tell. And I wish him nothing but the best, man. I don't really know how. I haven't watched any of the spoilers. I don't know how this ends, but I could see if this guy making it really far on the season for sure. And on that note, everybody, thank you so much for listening to today's episode. We hope you loved it. We hope you love Aven. Keep on watching the show. We love it. Love you guys.
We don't hope that you love Aven. We know that you love Aven.
We know you love Aven.
We know you love Aven.
Thank you to Aven so much for being here, and to all of our listeners, thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. And a quick reminder, guys, make sure you tune in to new episodes of Gabby and Rachel's Journey of The Bachelorette, Mondays at 8 p.m. on ABC or Hulu.
We do want to hear your opinions, your stories, your insights. So please don't forget to like, comment, follow. Message us on social at Talking Out B as in Bachelor Nation on IG. And as always, please don't forget to subscribe to our podcast and listen to us on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts. And baby, don't DM me no more till you hit that subscribe. We love y'all. Until next week.